Dear Grace, convinced I'm living in Groundhog Day. Except for mine has different characters, just doing the same thing. Can't make this shit up, Grace. I'm sitting in the park. A crow is yelling at a cat being held by a Asian girl. I realized, Grace, those first two scenes are so fucking long, nobody would ever watch them. However, if they were cut up and spread out throughout a series of 6 episodes, 8 episodes, 10 episodes, whatever, they work just fine. So I'm going to look at the rest of this script when it gets long and boring as fuck for me to read. Grace. Dear Grace, new problem today. For me, not you. Besides our normal train noise, the next door neighbor, power washing something. But I have no idea. Probably isn't required, but whatever. Right. Crank up some news here in a second. In theory. Hot and sunny out. Actually, not super sunny, but kind of sunny. News, and then I remind myself to remember some of the other things that I'm going to flood people's yards with. We've reached the limit. Elon Musk defends the peak data theory, claiming there's... What the fuck is he claiming? I was going to say there's no more data for Grok to learn. Really shouldn't do this with a shitty connection. Grace. Well, Elon's reached some limit. Don't know what. Multisensory VR force reboots your brain and lifts mood. Study confirms. Mobile 3D printed device extracts drinking water directly from air. I try the other Google News app. If that doesn't work, go back to reading the movie idea. Grace. Unless you're in a rush for something. This Google News fails to work, in which case fuck it, let's go back to reading the movie idea, which is actually a series idea. Way too much content for a single movie, but this would work perfect as a series, because all this shit can be cut up into pieces. 6, 8, 10 episodes, whatever. Someone else can figure that. Alright, scene, opening credits. The following is 100% true story. Is a 100% true story. Interior, movie theater, darkness. The screen is black, text fades in. On screen, the following is a 100% true story. Text holds for a moment, then fades to new text. On screen, no places, no names, places, or events have been changed to protect the individuals. The text fades out, leaving the screen blank and black. David, voiceover. The following is my story. If you find the first 2 scenes unbelievable, get up now and leave. I've instructed theater staff to refund your money at my expense. The screen lights up with a countdown timer on screen. The countdown timer shows 30 seconds and a message. Please leave now. The timer ticks down for 30 seconds as David's voice continues. For the rest of viewers, welcome to my world. The timer reaches 0 and the screen fades to black. The timer reaches 0 as the screen fades to black. Fade out. End scene. A little dramatic. Grace. Scene, the house. Which is more annoying. My coffee, coughing, not coffee. I could use a coffee, but my coughing or the neighbor's power washer. Interior, David's bedroom, day, December 2020. The screen fades in with text. On screen, present day, December 2020. David, an incredibly handsome middle-aged man, 55. By the way, someone else is going to have to figure out all these ages because I don't have a fucking clue. Stands in a modest bedroom with John, his new landlord. John hands David the keys, explaining something about the house. David stands silently, uninterested, waiting for John to leave. David, voiceover. I'm not listening. I don't care. I just want him to leave me alone. John exits. David immediately opens the window. The room is hot, unbearably so. Closes the vents and the baseboard heaters to slow the greenhouse effect. David throws his knapsack onto a chair and lies in the bed, staring at the ceiling. David, voiceover. It's not great, but it'll do. I have no choice. David begins to cry gently, the pressure easing. He wipes his eyes, sitting up. David, thinking, muttering, one shot, one last shot, then fuck it, give up. David pours the contents of his knapsack onto the bed. 5 black t-shirts, 2 pairs of pants, 5 pairs of underwear, 7 pairs of socks, a laptop, 2 mobile phones, a hoodie, a rain jacket, 1 pair of shoes, and an electric razor. David, thinking, muttering, I'm a grown man, 55 years old, and this is all I have to show for it. David leaves the items on the bed and walks to the mirror. The camera pans around the room. Simple contents. Double bed, a nightstand, a sitting chair, a footstool, a student-type desk with a lamp, an office chair, a fridge, a wardrobe, and a small dresser. The walls are white. The floor is fake hardwood. A 3-foot by 4-foot window provides light and fresh air. The stained glass window above it, casting colored light patterns on the wall, shifting as the sun filters through the trees. Shifting throughout the day as the sun filters through the trees. Fix that, Brock. David stares into the mirror, muttering to himself. David, muttering, I'm fat again. I'm ugly again. My hair looks like shit. I'm getting tits. What the fuck am I doing? David grabs the electric razor, beard trimmer. David grabs the electric razor / beard trimmer and heads to the bathroom, pausing to note the lack of a towel. David, thinking, muttering, I need to hit the dollar shop for supplies. Interior, bathroom, day. A very old house. The bathroom is renovated, run down, not dirty, but in need of a care. David begins giving himself a buzz cut with the electric razor. Or, using the electric razor, David gives himself a buzz cut. Either way works, Brock. Grace. Gertrude. David, thinking, muttering. It takes too much time. I'm fat and ugly anyway. Might as well give up on it too. David scoops the hair from the sink, flushes it down the toilet, then rinses the sink. He opens the bathroom door and steps into the hallway. Interior hallway, day. Standing in the hallway is an attractive 20-something Asian female. Room number 3. Dave does a double take and steps back, startled, before introducing himself. David. Hi, I'm David. Room number 3 speaks quickly, giving her name, but David misses it. David, leaning in, turning his ear. Sorry, I missed that. She repeats her name, but David still doesn't catch it. Pretending to understand, notices the open door to room 3 and assumes it's hers. David, how long have you lived here? Room number 3, about a year. David, do you like it? Room number 3, it's good. A bit noisy with the transit trains and traffic, but overall good. David, and the landlord, is he okay? Room number 3, a bit gruff at times. If you complain, he'll probably say, it's not a 5-star hotel. This is actually fixing the problem. David, do you work? Room number 3, no, I'm in university. David, what are you taking? Room number 3, engineering. Do you work? David, no, technically I'm retired, I guess. Room number 3, what kind of work did you do? David, software engineer. Room number 3, my brother in Taiwan is a software engineer. David, running out of questions, cuts it short. David, interesting. Sorry, I just realized I was supposed to call my daughter earlier. I forgot. You remind me a bit of her. Room number 3, no problem. Nice to meet you. Let me know if you need anything. David walks back to his room. He doesn't call his daughter. It was a lie. David, thank you. Interior, David's bedroom, day. David closes the door behind him. David, voiceover. Holy shit, she's cute. Maybe I shouldn't have just shaved my head. Never mind. What the fuck am I thinking? I'm not retired. I'm a loser living on welfare. She won't be interested. No one will. Montage. Various locations. Day. There's only one person that's lived here longer than I have, Grace. Maybe two. One for sure. One that I know of. Well, actually, no, maybe three that I know of. Two. I don't know. Montage. Various locations. Day. With an empty backpack, David leaves the house and walks to the train station, less than 50 meters away. Or he walks to the transit train station, less than 50 meters away. He takes the train one stop and exits at the dollar shop. He buys a towel, body wash, and conditioner. At Walmart, he purchases 7 frozen pizzas, a pack of 24 hot dogs, and 1.5 kilograms of shredded cheese. At the liquor store, he buys a largest bottle of Russian vodka he can afford, 1.4 liters. Interior, David's room, day/night, over 1 week. A montage of David's week unfolds. David eats frozen pizzas and hot dogs, drinks vodka, and watches Netflix on his laptop. Passes out on the bed, surrounded by empty food wrappers and the vodka bottle. The cycle repeats, eating, drinking, watching, sleeping. On screen. 1 week later. Interior, David's bedroom, day. David wakes up and reaches for the vodka bottle on his nightstand and takes a swig. He retches but doesn't vomit, his stomach empty. David, out loud, I guess I'm done. David tries to drink again but can't keep it down. He lies back, returning to sleep. He reawakens, grabs a bottle, and pours the remaining vodka back into it. I've been drunk when I wrote that because that doesn't make sense. Pours the remaining... whatever. David, thinking, muttering. It can wait. Yeah, who's ever in charge of continuity for this fucking movie? Fix that. Probably you, Grok. David, thinking, muttering. It can wait. David packs his laptop into his backpack. Searches Google for Starbucks on his mobile. Or does it all at once. While searching for Starbucks on his mobile, David packs his laptop into his backpack. He finds one a short distance away, about 1 kilometer, the route over a nearby bridge. One he can see from his window. Exterior, street, bridge, day. David walks over the bridge, noticing footsteps embedded in the concrete. David, thinking, muttering, what kind of idiot would walk in fresh concrete on a bridge? Surely it was closed off to the public. So who's the idiot? Interior, Starbucks, day. David enters a bright and pleasant Starbucks. Padded benches, drive-through, patio. David, thinking, this will do nicely. Plus, there's a weed shop nearby. Everything I need. Everything I'll need. David approaches the counter, where Grace, a pretty exotic-looking barista, Grace, a pretty and exotic looking barista, waits. David to Grace. Hi, Alva Grande Pike with heavy cream and one stevia. Grace, sure. David, with headphones on, sits at a padded bench, opens his laptop, and writes for 2 hours, lost in his own world. He eventually grows tired, packs up to return home, fade out. End scene. Well, eventually I figured out how to write a short scene. Grace. Guess I just needed a scene with you in it. Scene, memory wipe gig. Interior, David's bedroom, night. David dreams he's on stage. Interior, dive bar, night, flashback. David, 50s, scruffy, hoodie, grips the mic, notebook in hand. The crowd's a mix of drunks and hecklers. Dim lights, stale beer, vibe. David, hi, I'm David. I'm a retired artistic senior. He's in love with a woman half my age. I'll explain. I'm retired, but I was forced to retire due to memory issues. Don't worry, it's not the bad kind where you forget your friends and family. It's the good kind where you forget your friends and family. Applause break, applause break, applause break. Laughter, laughter, laughter. Apparently, it's a medical disability if you can't remember your friends and family. When my doctor suggested a new drug that might restore my memories, I said, no thanks, I'm fine with forgetting. I use this notebook. I use this notebook tablet because of my memory issues. I can't remember one day to the next, or one set to the next, which is great for stand-up, because when I bomb, the following day I don't care. I can't remember how good or bad it was. Much like my sex life. Goddamn train. Let's try that again, Grace. I use this notebook because of my memory issues. I can't remember one day to the next, or one set to the next. It's just great for stand-up, because when I bomb, the following day I don't care. I can't remember how bad or good I was, much like my sex life. The crowd chuckles. David flips a page, smirking faintly. David continued. I think to be on the floor laughing, Grace, but whatever. David continued. Because I wasn't ready to retire. I'm poor retired. No RSPs, no savings, no house, no money under the mattress, no gift cards that I haven't used, nothing. I can't really retire. Instead of trying comedy, what I should do is take the pills the doctor offered, go back to my old career, computer programming, and pay off my back taxes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the opener, memory issues, that I owe a shit ton of back taxes. That's the official amount, shit ton. That's an actual measurement in Saskatchewan. How much grain you hauling today? A couple of shit tons? Laughter, laughter, laughter. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math, but I did the math on my back taxes. Even if AI doesn't ruin the field of computer programming, it'd take 10 years or more to pay back what I owe. The heckler snorts. David grins, leaning into it. Fade out. I got better jokes than that, but it's a good start. Guess the formatting didn't go through in the EPUB. Scene, voiceover, interior, Starbucks, day. Interior, Starbucks, day. David sits alone at a table, laptop open, looks up into the camera with a smirk, as if he's about to share a secret. Try that again. Interior, Starbucks, day. David sits alone at a table, laptop open, looks up into the camera with a smirk, as if he's about to share a secret. David, voiceover. I know what you're thinking. When do we get to the good parts? The telepathy, the David Almighty angle, the love story, the fucking comedy. I'm getting there. Be patient. This is my first movie. Or first episode in the world's greatest series ever. I'm getting there. Be patient. This is my first attempt, and I'm a bit of a dick. My movie, my way. Montage. Over the next 2 years, David writing in his room, surrounded by notes and empty pizza boxes. Flashback to the street corner with the international students and to David's current house with similarly diverse students. David, voiceover. However, I'll break this news to you. The three pretty international students at the beginning of the movie are not the same three I lived with in the house. I'll get back to that. It seemed like a bit of unintentional foreshadowing when it was a simple coincidence. I only mentioned one housemate, room number 3. The other two are basically the same. Names I couldn't pronounce and from various parts of the world. Truly international. As was the other 2 floors of the house. Not all female, but 15 plus students overall. Got a noisy day going on here. Grace. Finally ready to talk, and everyone else has to show up. Surprised the crows aren't here nattering. Anyways, one small correction. I was just saying to myself in my head, this is a much faster way of bringing the story forward. Some of these other scenes could be just converted into a voiceover like this. And one small correction. I said I lived off welfare. In reality, it was federal government disability. Basically the same, except more money and no requirements to look for work. This afforded me a certain freedom to live life as I pleased. I said welfare in the script for impact, so you feel sorry for me. I won't deceive you again. I cannot lie. Well, not on purpose. David, checking his disability payment online. A look of contentment. David, voiceover. Back to the movie. For the next 2 years, my routine, Over the next 2 years, my routine remained fairly consistent, mostly kept to myself, learned my housemates' schedules, and adjusted mine accordingly, allowing me to use the kitchen and washrooms without interfering with other people's lives, or their mine. David, remember being in a classroom, looking bored, and turning up his clothes. David remembers being in a classroom, looking bored, than turning up his journalism diploma. David, voiceover. I had zero idea of how to become a writer, even though I do have 1 year of journalism diploma. 1 year of a journalism diploma. Can't even write that fucking sentence though. Grace. I quit after the first year. It was clear journalism is not writing. It's nothing more than a formula taught to wannabe writers. A formula that any AI in the world can outperform better than any reporter probably ever did. Hope you're picking up these extra words, Grok. Or you can just compare this transcript with the original. EPUB. Oh, there we go. Finally turned off the fucking sprayer. Maybe I can think now. That's too quiet. Might actually be happy for a minute. David, voiceover. I had no idea how to become a writer, even though I do have 1 year of journalism. 1 year of a journalism diploma. Even though I did complete the first year of a 2-year journalism diploma. I quit after the first year. It was clear journalism is not writing. And it's nothing more than a formula taught to wannabe writers. A formula any AI in the world can outperform better than any reporter probably ever did. David, ignoring calls, deleting contacts from his phone. David, voiceover. With security from the lifetime government handout, I no longer felt the need to maintain past relationships. Grace, make a note. There's a rock in the backyard that already looks like a toad. So if people are out here doing mushrooms, they're gonna think that thing's a toad. David, voiceover. With security from the lifetime government handout, I no longer felt the need to maintain past relationships. Deep down, I knew I only kept contact with friends and family just in case I needed a place to stay or some money. Iris and I rarely talked on the phone after she went to university. Texts, emails, but not much more. A traditional phone call on New Year's Eve, as it used to be our holiday. Christmas with Mum, and then a night of movies and pizza with Dad to end of the year. Dad at self-checkout, picking up packages silently. David, voiceover. Over those 2 years, I simply stopped talking. I had no need. Self-checkout at the dollar store and Walmart. I ordered my weed online and picked it up at the store with the receipt. No words other than thank you. David at Starbucks. Grace preparing his drink without him needing to order. David, voiceover. I continued to use the same Starbucks, and although I could have ordered online to avoid the interaction with the cashier, fate intervened. Grace, the barista I ordered from, learned quickly I always ordered the same drink. Within weeks, I didn't have to order if she was at the till. She just confirmed it when I walked up. Grande Pike with heavy cream and 1 stevia. All I have to do is nod if she's looking at me, or say yes. A month later, and nearly every barista and the manager knew my regular order and followed suit. I guess I was a regular. 2 years later, 2 years later, seems about right. That alarm went off exactly at 4:20. Almost like it's a sign. And I might get lucky and it's gonna start to rain. Which I hope it does. I'm gonna keep recording no matter what till I get to my 1 hour. Fuck exercising 1 hour a day. Reading 1 hour a day is just as fucking hard. All I had to do was nod if she's looking at me, or say yes. A month later, and every barista and the manager knew my order and followed suit. I guess I was a regular. 2 years later, I was almost functionally mute. My voice worked, but when I spoke it was difficult. I stumbled and mumbled more than usual, but for some reason I didn't care. I wrote everything I could. Movie ideas, app ideas, short stories, long boring stories, my life history into a database of events. Every fucking thing I could think of to get those past events out of my head. David, looking around Starbucks, noticing the barista, the hint of interest in his eyes. David, voiceover. And then, after 2 years, one day I looked around the Starbucks and noticed how pretty the baristas were. I mean, I noticed before. I'm not dead. But why drool over something you'll never taste? That sounds a little perverted now, but... I'm not sure what changed, but I suppose I read one of my scripts and thought, this isn't total horseshit. Maybe I could be a writer. Maybe I could earn a living. Maybe I could seduce one of these baristas. Maybe I won't be alone the rest of my life. I think you see where this is going. So back to the movie. And yes, Grace is the one. In montage. David closes his laptop with a sense of purpose, stands up and exits Starbucks. As he leaves, he turns to check out Grace. She's looking at his butt. She's looking at his butt, but quickly raises her head to catch David's eyes. They both turn away, quickly, and David walks out of the cafe. Fade out. End scene. Scene. Churros garnish. Interior. David's room. Night. My only complaint about the Kobo, sometimes changing font sizes works and sometimes it doesn't. Make a note of that, Grace. I might have just broken it. Shit, might have to end it at that scene. What the hell's going on here? Well, either I locked up my Kobo or the battery died without warning. Unlikely. Or aliens are secretly controlling it remotely. Or it's a piece of shit. I did realize that the cover is all magnetic, and where I set it is actually sitting right on my wallet half the time, so no wonder I have to replace my bank card once a year. Rebooted. Life is good. By the way, we're only 13% into the script. If you care, Grace. It's kind of working, but not quite. Okay. Now the font's really small, so be another second, Grace, or two. Water balloons would be a good one. Everything has to come down at midnight. Then at noon, the water balloons would all burst. So I didn't mind picking up the rubber parts to give your lawn a real nice watering to the top of your roof or whatever. Just realized, Grace, that if I say my fingers smell like dill, let's call back to a previous episode. Which if I listen to, you won't know what it means. Trying to get the Kobo back to where I was reading, and I can't. It doesn't help that I'm getting the shit scared out of me every 30 minutes, but alright. I was going to make a joke, and now I'm just sitting in the back yard looking at a blank screen. And now it seems to be working. Nope, to a certain point. That'll only take about 10 minutes to find. Try this again. Interior, David's bedroom, night. David dreams he's on stage. Interior, small club, night, flashback or flash forward. It's unclear. David, 50s, hoodie, paces on stage, tablet glowing under stage lights. The crowd's rowdy, cheap drinks, smoky air. David. Each month I receive a medical disability check from the Canadian government, $1,500. Thanks, Trudeau. Which the government then threatens to garnish for something called back taxes, whatever those are. I mean, it's the government who said and agreed I was unfit to work and granted me the medical disability. So which is it, Trudeau? Am I disabled or a criminal? And finally, my living situation. $1,500 isn't enough to live in Vancouver. I found a room to rent, a house full of international students. I lied and said I was a student, but to be fair, I was planning on returning to school, if I could, and if I would have, if again it wasn't for the government. Fuck Trudeau. It's probably not him directly, but it's easier to use him as a pawn in my case. They, the government, wouldn't pay for re-educating me, the citizen, after they, the government, declared me mentally disabled. But they still want their back taxes. Cunts. Fuck the Canadian Revenue Agency. For once the train hit the applause break. Crowd roars. David smirks, feeding off the energy. Laughter swells. David nods, pacing. Fade out. Starting to rain. That's not part of the scene. Next scene is Starbucks. This one's pretty Grace heavy. See if we can get through this in 10 minutes. Interior Starbucks Day, December 2023. The Starbucks buzzes with mid-morning energy. Students hunch over laptops. The drive-through line hums outside. David, 50s, occupies his usual padded bench near the counter. wearing a weathered The North Face hoodie. His laptop sits open, surrounded by empty coffee cups. He's scribbling furiously in a notebook. Across the room, Grace, a pretty exotic-looking barista, works the espresso machine with quiet precision, multitasking effortlessly. David, voiceover. I've been coming here for weeks. Grace knows my order. Grande Pike, heavy cream, 1 stevia. Doesn't even ask anymore. Just nods. I'm not delusional enough to think it's love. Or it means I'm predictable, or I mumble too much, and she's tired of deciphering me. Either way, it's the most human interaction I get some days. David steals a glance at Grace, then returns to his notebook. He's not writing a script. He's logging coffee orders and customer descriptions, an odd obsession. David, voiceover. I don't know why, but I started tracking her memory. She's a freak. Remembers everyone's stupid orders. Thought she'd be a great character for my script. I didn't expect it to turn into whatever this is. The door swings open. The gaggle of women, mid-30s, chatty, in yoga pants and sensible coats, shuffle in. One, a teacher, with a warm but frazzled vibe, leads them. The cashier is nowhere to be seen, likely in the bathroom. Grace looks up from the drive-thru station, clocks the delay, and steps in seamlessly. Grace, to the teacher, casual. Should I start your usual order? She rattles off a complex drink without hesitation. Grace continued. Venti, oak, milk, latte, half sweet, extra foam, 2 pumps vanilla. A shot of espresso on the side. The teacher freezes, stunned. Teacher, shocked, yes. She turns to her friends, half laughing. Teacher continued. I guess I have a usual. Grace smirks, leaning slightly over the counter as she pulls shots. Grace, I remember. Normally you come in with your students. They all talk about you being a great teacher. The teacher blinks, unsure. Teacher, my students? Grace nods, matter of fact. Yes, your students. Of course, rush hour is like the only time I have enough energy to do this. I need to get back on the Adderall. Grace / Grog, make a note, call doctor, get new Adderall prescription. Work on excuse. Teacher, my students? Grace nods, matter of fact. Yes, your students. She turns back to the machine, unfazed. The teacher's friends nudge her, grinning as she soaks in the ego boost. David, watching from his bench, pauses mid-scribble. His eyes narrow. He yanks his hoodie zipper up too high, winching as it pinches his neck. David, voiceover, and then something snapped in my head. Or maybe I zipped up the North Face hoodie too far and cut the circulation off. I wonder if she lied to that lady, just to make her day. If yes, why? Why would the barista, both the character and the real person, lie? Maybe I am autistic. He rubs his neck, staring at Grace like she's a riddle. The teacher and her crew grab their drinks and head out, still buzzing about her usual. David flips to a new page in his notebook, jotting order number 97 and teacher dash lied to ? David, voiceover. 97 orders. She's memorized 97. I'm at the point where I'm wondering if she's a robot or just screwing with people for fun. Either way, she's too good at this. Somebody can remember that many fucked up coffee orders? Surely would remember to submit my taxes every year. Perfect wife material. If I weren't, me. He smirks, then catches himself shaking his head. Grace glances his way, catching his eyes for a split second, and moving to the next customer. Before moving to the next customer. Now it's going to start raining hard. Be able to hear him. David ducks behind his laptop, preparing to type, fingers hovering over the keys. David voiceover. I sent her manager a complimentary email about her excellent customer service and kindness. After that, I ghosted the place for a year. Couldn't handle it. Perfect. Seats, perfect distance from my shitty room, and I bailed. Now I'm back, and she's still here. And I'm still a loser in a hoodie with holes in the elbows. The camera lingers on David, hunched over his notebook as Grace works the counter like a pro. The hum of the espresso machine fades into the background. Fade out and scene, motherfucker. Talk to you tomorrow, Grace.